this brings us into like how you can find it, and um you basically gave like a long description of just the general idea is you have to stumble around.
Just
You
try
have to.
everything until you're happy.
Yes, exactly. Like you gotta do a lot of stuff, and this is by no means easy. Like it's really easy for us to say you have to go and try out a lot of stuff, um, but we're still living our lives too. Like we're still going out every single day, trying to see what it is exactly like interests us. And if you want to learn what you like, you just need to experience things. The whole essence of kind of locking yourself up in your room and kind of thinking like, why am I not happy? Instead of going out and trying to find out what
What
makes
makes
you
you happy?
happy, like you're not going to find it in your room. You're going to find it going outside and I don't know, smelling the flowers or going on a run or talking to a friend at a park. Like it could be anything, but you have to make sure you're going out and experiencing something. And make sure, I mean, this is hard for a lot of people as well, but if you want to try and uh I guess broaden that whole pool of things that make you happy, go and try to experience something new every time you go outside. Or even if it's not outside, inside, you can do stuff like on the internet when you're looking for stuff that you're doing research or you're just trying to learn a new thing. In general, the whole idea that I want to get across is you want to experience something new. The whole notion of getting experiences is what propels people forward to want to improve, right? And when you're happy, you will always want to improve yourself.
Yeah, that's true. When you're actually passionate in something and you actually enjoy doing it, it's becomes a lot less difficult to become better at it because you're doing it naturally rather than forcing yourself to do it. Um, yeah,
You were gonna say something else. I think I forgot. I don't know what you were gonna say
I don't.
before you were gonna rudely cut me off.
What?
I think you were about to rudely cut me off, but I don't know because
Um,
you're a rude person.
oh yeah, you can tell.
um, why? Why choose happiness? That's an interesting one too.
I ask
I mean,
myself every day.
why? Because it's totally inconvenient and makes you live a completely just terrible life. No, I mean,
No, but like let's get actually like really serious, like really serious now.
yeah,
What if you really are unhappy with your life? What
that's one
what
reason why you should choose happiness.
No, 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 but like what do? You're you're working your bad job or you're studying your major in college. You might not have many friends, you might not have a girlfriend, you might hate your teachers, maybe you were bullied when you were younger, maybe your parents are putting a lot of pressure on you. Maybe things aren't going your
Yeah,
way, you know.
totally.
It can really be hard on you.
Oh, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. I mean, it's tough
It's really easy for us
to just come out here and say all this
say,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
be happy, even though like it can be argued neither of us really have achieved true happiness either.
Yeah, there. But like for people who are actually
Not
having
yeah,
these
struggling
like
right now.
really like if you're struggling right now, then I say the first thing, and I do this myself, and I know a lot of other people that do this, and it works for them, so maybe it'll work for you. But like I said before, I'm not an expert. I'm just trying to help you.
We're giving us
Yes,
our two
based
cents.
on based on my opinion, based on my experience. Um, you want to know yourself. Like that's the first step in everything. If you don't know yourself very well, then you have to start learning and knowing yourself.
What if I spend my whole life studying and never being a person?
Take a break.
Take a break.
No, really, take a break because all that studying is not going to do you well if you don't even know why you're doing it, for instance. And we talked about this briefly um, in the pilot,
Pilot episode.
but if you don't understand why it is you're doing what you're doing, then what just like there's no reason to do it. There's a very like the whole sentiment of why is extremely important, I think, to everything we do in our lives. Whether it's going on a jog in the early morning or eating a tuna sandwich for lunch. I think like why are you doing this? Oh, I'm trying to maintain my nutrition. Oh, I'm trying to stay healthy. Why are we doing this podcast? It's because we have this tendency, like we've gone over it, but we have a tendency to have pretty interesting conversations, and we want to share them with everyone, and we want everyone to see the glass half full like we do. And so,
We is a strong word, right?
and so once you understand why, then you'll be able to start actually moving forward towards that thing. And so, know yourself. Ask yourself questions like, why do I feel the way I feel right now? If you're feeling sad, like, is it a visceral thing? Is it an emotional thing? Like, why? Why is that happening? And what can I do to make it better? If you can put an actual fingerprint, or if can you put like a finger on that thing that is making you unhappy or that thing that is messing with your happiness, then you'll know like, okay, now that I know what it is, I can go about actually starting to find that solution to that thing that is just messing with my life. And so the way I see it is once you find out that one thing, like once you just find those many things maybe, it's just that first level, you know. You have to understand yourself very well though. It's really hard because personal reflection is something that I do a lot. I don't know if you do it actually. Do you self-reflect a lot?
What does that mean?
Self-reflection?
It means looking at myself.
Yes, looking at yourself in the mirror.
No, 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 like analyzing
Yes,
my
and yeah.
personality and
Yeah,
being.
your personality, your behavioral tendencies,
Yeah,
things that you do.
I hate that guy.
Well,
I always tell people it's always me, myself, and I, and we're always fighting against each other.
do you ever see more than just one reflection in the mirror?
I always see like three of them.
Oh.
I see the good, the bad, and me picking sides
Well, you
as to
may
which one is the good one.
Well, this is no joke. You may actually have multiple personality disorder. I
Pete, can
suggest
you
you see
actually shut up?
someone. Okay. Anyways.
But yes, I do self reflect, but like, you know, for some people it can be very hard because, for example, I was going to tell you, what if you're like me and you have the answers to everything? So like, why are you in college? To get a good job.
Modest.
I mean, no, I'm joking. But like, what if you're unhappy in college and let's say you need to answer the question of why you're doing it? So why are you in college? To get a good job. Why do you need a good job? For money. Why do you need money? Financial stability. It's like, well, why are you studying this? It's like, oh, my parents or the society or, you know, my friends, my guidance counselor, they all said this was a good career. It's like, why why aren't you happy with this? It's like, because like maybe for me, like it was boring and dry and I don't like the material. You know, why are you pushing yourself so hard? Is because I'm being pressured by everyone else to do so. So it's like, you know, what happens in that situation where it's like you have all the answers to why you're doing it. You just in your heart you wish you didn't have to do it. You know,
I,
what then?
what if you know why?
Like you're doing it because society makes you think you should do it, and money is important.
Well, then you
Those are
don't.
your
Then you
meaning.
don't really know why.
Money is important. That's my answer. Why?
That kind of destroys the whole idea of independence, though.
Of independence.
Well, the whole notion of doing like this self reflection is you are acknowledging yourself as an independent person, and you are gonna try to do the best you can to understand yourself so that you can better yourself.
That's true, but it is difficult in
Oh
certain
yeah,
circumstances. Not only to even achieve that on your own is already a pretty difficult feat, but like if there are external things pushing down on you that you also have to overcome.
externalities are hard, very hard,
Yeah,
of
like
course.
let's say, you know, I like to think both of us have relatively supportive parents,
Yeah,
but like what if your parents are like a tiger mom, for example, and they say you have to do this specifically, and you love your parents and you care for them and they've supported you, but you might not agree with their sentiment. You have to overcome that barrier of like having to disagree and branch off in your own path. That can be really difficult, and depending on circumstances can lead to not the best outcome.
Well, then
In regards to relationship, as far as your future, I feel like this is one of those things, like a necessary evil of sorts.
yes, I was gonna say that. My answer to that is whose life are you living right now? Your tiger mom's or your own?
That's, you know,
You know,
that's the barrier you have to cross.
exactly. So I think one way to first starting like first getting to know yourself is um just get to understand your childhood. That's like that's a huge part I think. Cuz childhood is very like this is going to become slightly psychological, I guess, but
It's fine.
childhood is a time period in which you are very
Impressionable.
yes, exactly. That's the word I was looking for. And so everything you learn, or a majority of the stuff you learn, whether it's behavior, whether it's just common knowledge, manners, mannerisms, everything like that. That's most of it is learned as you're a child. And so, if you had a rough childhood, and there are plenty of people out there who have had rough childhood, no one's had it easy. Like you said, like you don't go through life without scraping your knee a few times.
But some people might scrape
Some
their knee,
people,
and some
yeah,
people might be
with
head deep in,
yeah, very deep cuts, we'll say.
thrown into the deep end of the pool
Yeah,
with an anchor on their
yeah.
leg.
And so if you have had if we're talking to you right now and you have had that type of childhood, would say, then you as painful as it may be, a lot of the answers you'll find as to why you are the way you are come from that. And
From self-reflecting back on.
yes, yes, a lot of the reasons you are the way you are come from what molded you, and that molding happened when you were a childhood.
What
When
if
you were a child,
what if you don't want to go back there?
that is the question that everybody um, wants to know, I
What
guess.
do you think about therapy? Your opinions? Because I
Uh,
feel like that's a pretty good place for
I
that kind of
actually,
thing.
yeah, I actually, I'm for it. To be honest, I think it's helpful. I think because when you can talk to a person that is relatively ambivalent on their views about you, like they've never met you before, for instance, like let's say it's your first therapy meeting, you go to them and they've never met you before, so they don't have any like opinion on you, and they're gonna try to be as
Neutral.
yes as ambivalent as possible when they're talking to you for the first time. Then they're not gonna really give you advice based on who you are before, but rather just what you're telling them, you know, and you can control what you're telling them, obviously. And then over time, as you establish trust, then that's how the relationship between you and that person grows, and thus they can help you more. And it's like it's a good feedback loop, in my opinion.